You've ever been told you're too old to to start something or that you're behind or that the best years are behind you, you're in the right place. Today I'm going to talk about the legendary comeback of Lindsey Vonn and why it feels like the beginning of a whole new era for women. So, my name's Katie. This is day 3 of my year of no plans. It's a video diary where I'm sharing what shows up as I move through this next year without forcing anything, without forcing a direction, without forcing an outcome, without planning and making decisions out of fear. So, this morning I was doing my morning pages. If you were with me the last couple days, the morning pages are something that the book The Artist's Way suggests you do every morning. The Artist's Way is written by Julia Cameron, and the morning pages are a great way to just kind of get everything out that's kind of in your brain, that's stuck in your head, that's not well, it's serving you a purpose, but not, at least for me. Usually it's just like a bunch of garbage in my brain. So, anyway, morning pages, I was doing that and I was reflecting on the fact that it's freaking cold in Florida. Okay. And I know my family and my friends in colder states are gonna say, boo hoo, it's not cold in Florida. It's cold in Florida, guys. I'm wearing like multiple layers. I mean, not right now. I'm like ready to go for my walk. I'm getting pumped. But it's cold here. It's been like, I don't know, 50s, maybe 40s. I'm wearing like multiple layers, socks, all this stuff, and I'm bundling up, and it was making me think about as a little kid, like when I would get cold, and especially during ski season. So, in the winter, uh, we would all get bundled up and I would get to go skiing. And it was one of my favorite activities. So I really loved skiing. It was fun. We were outdoors all day. Um, but as a little kid, my hands and feet would get freezing cold. So I remember my dad would put like my little hands and my little feet in his armpits and try to warm me up and that part was miserable. I hated being cold. But skiing was really like an exciting fun part of growing up in Montana. And I just loved our ski trips. I feel like we did quite a few um where we'd take it was funny because my dad would always want to get up early. Like it'd still be dark out. Obviously it's winter, so the days are shorter, but we get up at like the crack of dawn, drive sometimes like 1 or 2 hours away to the ski hill, ski all day, bell to bell. It had to be bell to bell. We had to get our money's worth. And then yeah, go home at night. And I don't know. I always loved skiing as a kid. Never really thought of it like competing until I was gosh, maybe in high school, I started meeting some friends who were actually competitive in skiing, and I thought that was really cool. I remember though thinking, or them tell, not them telling me, but there was like this, it was one of those things like, how long have you been skiing? And I was like, I've been skiing since I was 2, which is technically true, but like skiing on my own and taking skiing lessons, like I wasn't skiing on my own for whatever. I was like 15 at that point. So probably, 13 years. Like, yeah, I'd been skiing 13 years, but not competitively, nothing like that. And so my friends who were skiing competitively, it was kind of like, "Oh, well, we've been skiing competitively since we were like 8." So I remember growing up, like there was always kind of these age limits to everything, right? Like I remember watching Winter Olympics and you had these beautiful ice skaters and And the downhill skiing was amazing, and all these sports. And in so many times, I feel like I don't know if I was told this or if it was just kind of something that was said, but it was always like, oh, well, if you didn't start at the age of like 5 skiing, ice skating, gymnastics, any of these sports, like you were never going to make it to the Olympics, right? And so, same once you get older, like in your 20s, 30s, it's like, oh, well, you might be a great athlete in your 20s, but it's too late, to get into the Olympics. You're too late. You missed like the age mark. And so it was always very defeating growing up. I feel like there was always this like, you didn't start soon enough, or now it's too late to start, right? Or it's too late to like get into the competitive zone of it. Now, for me, I didn't really want to ski competitively. I was a good swimmer growing up. I didn't want to swim competitively. I don't know what about it didn't appeal to me, but it just wasn't something that I was like, oh yeah, I want to be the best downhill racer in the world. Like that part never appealed to me. And so the people who are, skiing, ice skating, doing gymnastics, swimming competitively, like I commend them because growing up and watching them just do things that like I never imagine I can do really is inspiring because obviously our human bodies can do it, and we just need the drive and the technique and the ambition to want to do it, right? And so I never had that drive to be competitive in sports. And so growing up, um and meeting these age barriers, or just thinking back on like all these age barriers has has stirred a lot in me recently because I feel like, so I'm in my 40s. I feel like so many people when I was younger, like 20 years ago, it's like, oh, when you reach your 40s, like that's it. When you reach your 40s, like you can't start over. Or all these people are having midlife crises in like their 40s and 50s. And like just the way people talked about being in their 40s or getting to their 40s was like this death sentence, or like, oh, it's it's the worst. And I remember like in my 30s approaching my 40s and being like, the 40s are going to be great because I'm just going to be that much more productive and smart, and I'm going to have so many more tools and experiences in my toolbox, and I'm like, I'm just going to know how to do it better. And so all these people keep talking about their 40s and their 50s like, oh, I got to start over, I got to start over. And I'm starting to say, no, you get to start better. This is exciting. You already know. You've already done it so many times the wrong way. Like, let's do it different and let's start better and do it the right way. So, anyway, I'm digressing, I know. But Lindsey Vonn, my God, this woman has been through so many competitions. She's a alpine downhill ski racer. She's she's won, she's been to the Olympics, she's won World Cups. Like this woman is on fire. And I want to say, like, it had to have been around 2018, I think. She was either coming out of knee surgery or just getting into knee surgery. And I remember this because I just had a knee surgery. I had torn my ACL skiing, which is a very common injury in skiing. And I was in so much pain. I I was miserable. I had to, it took like about 2 or 3 weeks to just start walking on it comfortably again. The surgeons didn't want to do surgery until the swelling had gone down. And then I was still working, so I was still in season in Jackson Hole, trying to make as much money as possible before the off season. And so I was like freaking out. I have to get better. I have to get better because I have to work because I need to make money because I need to go into off season and not be broke. And so I'm going through this super painful time. I have knee surgery in May that year. I think it was 2018. And I kept seeing these videos of Lindsey Vonn, and she's like in the gym, she's working out. She's got this, scar on her leg, and she's like doing one-legged squats, and she's got like a weight around her waist. And I mean, I remember watching this and being like, no way. Like I was in so much pain and I was so depressed and I was just in a bad place. I was like, there's no way. Like, and I kept thinking, well, she's like in her 20s. She's in her 20s. Of course she can do it. And I'm not sure when I learned we were about the same age, but I was like, holy shit, we're like the same age. If she can do it, I can do it, Or like, I mean, obviously she's a professional athlete, so there's going to be quite a bit of differences there. But something in her recovery really motivated me, and I started going to the gym, like not 7 days a week, but at least 5 days a week. I started really lifting weights, working out, because I wanted to get back to skiing and ski better than I did before. I wanted to be strong again. And so Lindsey Vonn was like, she was there for me at a time when we were both going through knee surgery and we were both going through like not the funnest time of our lives. And she was very inspiring to me. Watching her gym videos and her getting strong again was super inspiring. So, that happened in my life. I don't remember a lot of videos of her after that, which is interesting. So it's kind of like her videos on Instagram came to me when I needed them the most, and it was of her getting through this knee surgery. I didn't realize she retired. So I guess she retired for the past few years. And just recently, she came back on my feed, and it's like she is skiing like the fastest she's ever skied. She was in St. Moritz, she was at the World Cup. She freaking took the podium, and she's 41. She she defied all the odds. She came back. She came back strong. She came back healthy. She came back, and in her mind, it's like she believed she could do it. She knew she could do it. She knew her body was strong. She trusted her body. She trusted how she felt on her skis, and she went for it and she did it. And I am just so like proud. I mean, and I love it because she's like an inspiration to all of us. I feel like she is ushering in, and I know a lot of women have been lately, but I feel like she's, for me, ushering in this new era and this new inspiration of women who, like, she's in her 40s and she just did what everyone says is like the impossible. She's too old to be racing downhill skiing. Like, no, no. She came back. She worked her ass off. And she also kept her mindset. She kept her mind sharp. She didn't let all the haters, all the naysayers, all the bullies tell her she was too old, she was too this, she was too that, she was too much, she's crazy. I guess a bunch of people called her crazy, and it's like, no, she did it in spite of what everyone was saying. And I feel like that is huge because I feel like right now, even just for me in my life, I'm doing something that I know hasn't quite caught on in my like family and friends, but I'm going into this next year with no job. Like I know people are going to start freaking out like, "Oh my God, what are you going to do about money? What are you going to do about money?" And it's like, I got this. Like I am trusting that I know what I'm doing. I have so many skills, I have so many experiences, I have so many tools in my toolbox that like I'm going to get through this next year and it's going to be great because I'm doing it differently. I'm not doing it the same as I've done year after year. um, fearing, fearing the lack, being scared of what's next, trying to plan and over plan to make sure that like things don't fall apart. And, I'm just really Lindsey Vonn's comeback and her videos on Instagram like came back to me at the perfect time because, you know, it's not about injury and skiing anymore. It's about like what she did with that and how she did it and how she built herself back up. And she used her skills, her talents, her abilities to become a World Cup. I think she got second place. Let me check my notes real quick. Um, Shoot, I don't have it written down, but I know she made the podium and I have to applaud Lindsey Vonn. Like, thank you. Thank you for your audacity. Thank you for your audacity to show us women and men in this whole entire world that you're never too old to start something, to finish something, to get through something. And you've come again at the perfect time in my life because it's all about mindset. It's all about what you're putting in your brain, how you think about it, and what you do with it. And that's been so difficult for me in 2025 because I realized in 2025 so many patterns and habits that I needed to break. And a lot of them were just my mindset, my how I thought about money, how I thought about time, how I thought about jobs, how I thought about um my capabilities, how I thought about opportunities, like my self-worth, all of it. And it's just like Lindsay is showing that, you just got to believe in yourself. You just have to believe in yourself, and everything else is gonna work out. It has to work out. If you put in, you know, all this training and all this, um, well, training, if you put in the reps, you're gonna get results. And so it's not just like, yeah, that's a gym metaphor, but if you put in the reps at the gym, you're gonna get a better body. If you put in the reps in your mind and you start reading the books that like feed you and fill you up and make you understand yourself better, your life better, your patterns, your habits, like there's no way that your life can't get better if you're putting in the reps to make it better. And Lindsey Vonn did that. And I'm stoked. She really has drove home for me that my decision to go into this next year with no plans is the best decision for me at this time in my life. And I'm so happy that we're entering this era where women aren't shrinking anymore because of their age. I feel like we're actually kind of like blossoming. All these women are blossoming and just really showing that like age is just a number. And for me, you know, this year isn't about forcing an outcome, forcing a new identity. It's just about letting a better identity and a better future emerge. And so I hope I didn't ramble too much. I'm so thankful you guys are here and just, yeah, stay tuned for more revelations, more adventures, more, like mind-blowing experiences, not just for me, but like for people like our idols, Lindsey Vonn, women who are really changing the world for all of us for the better. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk soon.